Hi friends! I think it's not a secret for anyone that today's youth prefers to live in big cities, and therefore, every year, many villages become deserted. The process of urbanization has already affected the entire planet because people are actively leaving the villages and going to metropolises in search of a better life. But even despite such terrible statistics, this isn't always the case. 8 kilometers from the border of South Dakota, in the most remote places of the U.S. state of Nebraska, there is the town of Monowee, which has held the title of the most sparsely populated city in the United States for several years. It may be hard to believe, but only one person lives there today. So, who is this brave person, and how is it even possible? Elsie Alier is a fragile woman who doesn't look a day over 60, but is in fact 84 years old. And the most incredible part is that she is everything in Monowee, from bartender to librarian, and even the mayor. The town of Monowee can easily be called a ghost town because there's only one small street, destroyed houses, a church, and a small tavern. Interestingly, Beaufort, Wyoming was considered the most sparsely populated town until 2012, but it was auctioned off and the title went to Monowee. According to the census, Monowee is the only town in the U.S. with just one citizen. When Elsie was still a 19-year-old young lady, the town was crackling with life. There she met a young man named Rudy, and soon the couple had a wonderful wedding. Over the years of their happy life together, they had 2 beautiful children. Later, Elsie and Rudy started their own small bar, Monowee Tavern, and were enjoying family life. And everything could have been fine, but in 1967, people started leaving the town. The last grocery store closed down in 1970, and the school closed in 1974. Life in the once bright and cheerful town began to subside, and thus the remaining residents started to leave it for bigger cities. In the 1970s, the children of Elsie and Rudy also decided to go and live in the metropolis. By 1980, the town had only 18 residents, and after another 20 years, Rudy and Elsie were the only ones left in Monowee. But Rudy passed away in 2004. And just like that, Elsie ended up being the only resident of this town. As sad as it is, people can't live forever. My Rudy didn't just leave the tavern behind, but also an entire town. I remember joking that we set a record for population drop of 50% in just one day, Elsie recalled. The woman understood that she was the only person left in the entire town, but she had no thought of leaving her home. I live in a trailer near the tavern, and every morning, except for Mondays, I open my bar at 9 a.m. Most of my customers live within 20 to 30 kilometers, and these are the people I have known my entire life. In fact, it's even hard to call them customers, because we've actually become more like family over the years. I already have clients in the 4th and 5th generations, and it's so wonderful when people I remember as babies bring their children here to introduce them to me, says Elsie, smiling. Needless to say, the woman really loves her job, as the small-town tavern is her brainchild. Moreover, tourists love this place. Since Elsie became the only inhabitant of the town, travelers never miss an opportunity to stop by. In 14 years, the tourists have filled 4 signature books. The woman is genuinely happy to see every guest, especially since most of them are friendly and nice people. Welcome to the world-famous Monowee Tavern, says the flashy sign on the tavern. And even despite all the difficulties, Elsie doesn't lose heart and lives her life to the fullest. Every year, the woman hangs an announcement about the upcoming mayoral elections. After that, she votes for herself and accordingly becomes the mayor of the town. This may probably seem ridiculous to some, but it isn't just a formality. After all, this is what makes Monowee a municipality, allowing Elsie to legally conduct her business there, as well as making sure the town continues to exist and gets electricity by remaining an officially operated administrative unit. I receive a lot of documents as a secretary, sign them as an official, and give them to myself as the owner of the bar. It's strange, but that's the way it is. I have to carefully follow all the procedures in order to keep Monowee as an officially registered settlement. Moreover, she even collects taxes from herself, which is never more than $500 per year. For its part, the state allocates subsidies that are directed to street lighting and other needs. The town with one resident reached a new level of popularity after one of the fast food chains decided to place some ads there. While having a lot of unoccupied space made Monowee the perfect place for the installation of a huge advertising poster, which even got listed in the Guinness Book of Records for its size. And Elsie Alier has become a real celebrity. Reporters from different publications continue to go to Nebraska to interview her. Besides, Elsie has also been taking care of cultural development. The woman opened a library in Monowee in honor of her husband, since she inherited 5,000 books from him. Obviously, Elsie is the librarian, and also the only reader in the library. Rudy used to read a lot, and shortly before his death, he told Elsie that he wanted to turn his collection of books into a public library. So Elsie fulfilled his wish. Today, in addition to her children, Elsie also has 5 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Her closest relatives live 150 kilometers from Monowee. Of course, they have been asking Elsie to move closer to them, but the woman refuses to even think about leaving her town. I know that I can move in with my children at any moment, but it would mean leaving my hometown. But as strange as it may seem, this is the place where I want to live, Elsie tells the reporters. And even after many years of loneliness, Elsie still makes up 100% of the population of this town. But Elsie jokes that this situation still has its own advantages. For example, she doesn't have to worry about getting in fights with her neighbors, and she enjoys the peace and quiet. Every evening, she drinks a cup of coffee while watching the sunset. And then every morning, she wakes up early to watch the sunrise. And it's been this way for many years. Then she goes on to open her bar at 9 a.m. and looks forward to seeing her customers. You may mull over this situation for as long as you like. You may mull over this situation as long as you want, but continuing to be the only inhabitant of Monowee is Elsie's choice, which she doesn't regret. Friends, how do you feel about this woman's choice? Do you think you could ever do the same? Leave your answers in the comments. I think they'd be interesting to read. Well, that's probably all for today. Rate the video and see you soon. Bye soon.